Wondering what's next for the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Big news is on the horizon with announcements about Thor 5 and Avengers 5. Will Thor take on gods like Hercules? What role will the Kang Dynasty play in Avengers 5? Stick around as we break down all the latest Marvel updates. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to keep yourself updated with all things Marvel. People are talking that Marvel might change things after the 6th Avenger movie called Secret Wars. This could mean new actors for roles or even new stories for characters. Marvel's already done this with Spider-Man many times. Think about this happening on a larger scale in the future. News sources say Taika Waititi is discussing plans for Thor after the movie Thor: Love and Thunder. He wonders what more can be done with the Thor character. He thinks Thor's next challenge could be bigger and more fun than before. The next villain should be stronger than Hela, the previous one. There's talk about a story where Hercules and other gods try to kill Thor. However, Taika Waititi recently said he may not work on that story. Discussion is happening about what comes next in Avengers movies. This is when we first see the Kang multiverse and new Avengers stories become clear. These elements will combine by the end of Marvel Phase 5 and the start of Phase 6. A new Avengers team starts forming in the movie Captain America 4: New World Order. Falcon, now Captain America, will begin assembling his new team. Right now, Thor is one of the few original main Avengers still around. The last time we saw Chris Hemsworth's role was in the movie Thor: Love and Thunder. Ultimately, he decides to take care of a special child named Love, who was brought back to life by eternity. This is how the child gets superpowers. Together, they go on trips across the universe to help others. This is why the movie's called Love and Thunder. Both of them are helping people everywhere. In the upcoming Thor movie, Love won't be a main character. Thor will continue to help people just as he's doing now. The story about Jane Foster sacrificing herself and going to Valhalla is more like a teaser for Avengers 6: Secret Wars. She'll return at some point following the rules established in Moonlight. Jane ended up in Valhalla because she made a pact with the Hammer, similar to how Moon Knight made a pact with Concho, even though he didn't believe in the Egyptian afterlife. Regarding Heimdall and the original Loki from Marvel 616 universe, they might not reappear in Thor 5. This absence could be another teaser for Secret Wars. However, we might see them in cameo roles in future films. They won't necessarily return for good, but their appearances will keep the door open for them to return to the main MCU dimension. The extra scene at the end of the Hercules movie mainly prepares us for the next Thor film. It's not really about Avengers movies, but Hercules may make a small appearance in Secret Wars. This is because many characters from Marvel's past are expected to show up in that movie. Think of it as the portal scene from Avengers Endgame, but much bigger. We'll likely see all kinds of characters, even less known ones. In the Hercules movie, Zeus tells Hercules to go after Thor. The bigger plan is to make regular people fear gods again. The movie touches on the idea that fewer people believe in gods now. The theme was also mentioned in Moonlight. People across the universe are losing faith in gods. Zeus has a plan to make people afraid of the gods once more. He wants Hercules to defeat Thor publicly. The movie's primary focus is on Thor battling against other deities. This is similar to what we've seen in Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, but on a smaller scale. The idea that Thor would be at odds with other gods was already suggested in Thor: Love and Thunder. In that film, Thor made a joke about how other gods would likely want to harm him because of his actions. The new movie fully develops this notion by clarifying that these other gods are indeed coming to challenge Thor. By setting up a public clash between Hercules and Thor, Zeus hopes to restore humanity's fear and reverence for the gods, a theme also touched upon in Moonlight, where it was noted that belief in gods is waning. In the comic books, Hercules and Thor are almost equally strong. For example, Thor becomes extremely powerful and is known as Rune King Thor. Similarly, Hercules also reaches a very high level of power and becomes the god of all gods. Even though the way their powers work is not the same, they are basically equally strong. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Hercules starts as half-god born from Zeus and a human mother. Like Thor, he faces a big choice as he gains more power. Should he become a full god or continue with earthly adventures? This dilemma is similar to what Thor encounters in the MCU. Thor has to decide whether to fully embrace his role as king and god to his people, or to keep exploring and having adventures across the universe. Interestingly, Chris Hemsworth, who plays Thor, has mentioned that the upcoming Thor movie featuring Hercules will be his final appearance as this character. Both Thor and Hercules grapple with similar existential choices in their story arcs, revolving around responsibility and pursuing personal freedom. Their decisions not only define their characters, but also create compelling narratives that explore what it means to be a god in a world that's losing faith in divine beings. Many people are under the impression that Hercules will successfully defeat Thor in the upcoming movie. However, I don't believe that will be the case. Additionally, Chris Hemsworth has stated that he'll be leaving the role of Thor, but this might not be completely accurate. Other actors like Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart have also announced their departures from iconic roles, yet they've returned in subsequent movies. Another example is Deadpool 3, which features both Deadpool and Wolverine. My early theory for the upcoming Thor and Hercules movie suggests a different path. I think the two characters will start as adversaries, initially fighting each other, but as the story progresses, they could have a turning point where they realize they have a lot in common. This realization might serve as a unifying moment, somewhat akin to the famous Martha moment seen in other cinematic narratives. In the end, Thor and Hercules might become allies or even friends, mirroring their relationship as it evolves in the comic books. In the comic books, Hercules initially serves as a competitor to Thor. They engage in many fights, but eventually turn into close friends who enjoy adventurous escapades together. Looking forward, Hercules will likely embrace a more cosmic role, becoming more powerful in a way that mirrors Rune King Thor from the comics. This development might explain Thor's less frequent appearances in future mainstream movies while still leaving the door open for occasional cameo roles. This shift would conveniently make room for Hercules to step into Thor's shoes, particularly in the context of a new Avengers team. Much like in the comic storylines, Hercules could eventually fill Thor's vacant role, allowing the narrative to honor past interactions between the two characters and set the stage for Hercules' more prominent role in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In the comic books, there was a time when the Incredible Hercules story replaced the Thor story. This is something that could happen soon in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as they prepare for the Red Hulk story. The plot of the Qing Dynasty movie takes ideas from the Avengers Kang War comics, even though they're not exactly the same. The new Avengers team we'll see in future MCU movies will be similar to the team in the Kang War comics. For example, Hercules and Falcon will be on the same team. Captain America and Spider-Man were also part of the comic book team. In the MCU, Spider-Man will stay on the Avengers team in future movies, and we'll see a new Spider-Man movie before that happens. I know many people have questions about Spider-Man and the Avengers. The spell did not change Spider-Man's role on the Avengers team. People just forgot that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. As for the movie about Thor and Hercules, there's no release date yet. They may start making it next year, but it won't come out until after Avengers 6 Secret Wars. Thor will be in Avengers 5 and Avengers 6 Secret Wars. After those movies, we might see the Thor vs. Hercules film. After that, Thor might only appear sometimes, similar to how Hugh Jackman's Wolverine shows up only once in a while. Thank you for joining us on this marvelous journey through Thor 5 and Avengers 5 updates. What are your thoughts on Thor battling other gods? And how excited are you for the Kang Dynasty in Avengers 5? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing Marvel content.